जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om
राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Where were we yesterday? 9. 7, 8 over, no? Ninth chapter, offering everything to the divine. Key points. Everything is in him, while he is not to be limited in anything. Whatever we do is to be offered to him. Whatever. Previously we were thinking, going to a temple or in a puja room, observing a particular ritual. These are all, offering to him. But this chapter says, whatever you do. That means when this dimension comes, we go back to our, when we go to a temple, when we go to our puja room, whatever we do it with devotion, love, perfection. So that attitude has to be extended to all that we do. Because we don't know that, we have separated in our mind that this is spiritual, this is worldly. So very difficult. Even while walking to this hall, keeping the chappal outside, sitting here in the chair, we thought that is different, satsang is different. No. 9th chapter demolishes the whole thing. Walking from our place to the hall, removing the chappal and keeping it in the order, entering into the hall, sitting, attending to everything with a touch of love. Nothing in a half-assed way. We may fail, we may forget because we have not trained our mind. So, but we try. So the 9th chapter reminds us this. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyo. He is the first great cause from whom all universal manifestations arise. He sustains, nourishes, protects all beings while remaining unattached and ever free. Just like the space, yesterday we were telling. It accommodates everything, but it doesn't get affected at all, untouched. Whether somebody cries whether somebody laughs, whether somebody is depressed, whether somebody is elated, the space does not get affected at all. But without the space, this cannot happen. Just as air moves within space without altering it, all beings exist within him without defining him. These are all points for our reflection and contemplation. He is untouched, unruffled. At the same time, he allows everything to happen. True offering is not about dedicating selected actions to God, but offering everything, our thoughts, words, deeds. When we bring the awareness of the divine into every aspect of life, negativity dissolves, life becomes harmonious. He willed it. Very difficult for all of us to agree, but that is the truth. We will keep on trying. God is both within and beyond His creation. He manifests the universe, sustains it, yet remains transcendent. Offering all action to the divine, not just rituals, but every thought and action should be infused with the devotion. Because I am offering to Him. Devotion transforms life. Even offering a simple leaf, flower, fruit, or water with sincerity holds immense value. Conscious effort matters. Like sowing seeds mindfully rather than scattering them. Suppose we sow the seed like this, it might sprout, it might not sprout. Even if it sprouts, it might die. But when we prepare and do it, mindfully doing it, it will sprout. Intentional devotion multiplies its impact. And awareness of Him leads to contentment. Recognizing that all we do is by His prompting brings deep peace, like traveling on an express highway without obstacles. Vinobaji used to say it's an express highway. Because there is no, we don't have to be choosy. We don't have to be selective. Even taking a mug and keeping it there, even washing a vessel, even cleaning our commode, even keeping the soap back to its soap box, even when writing, to take the pen and put the back pen there. When we take the laptop and we do the keying, and after that we stop it, we close it and keep it there. In every act, recognizing that all we do is by His prompting brings peace, like traveling on an express highway without obstacles. Refinement. Transform every task into an offering to God, be it work, speech, or relationship. Reading or hearing will not help. We have to do reflection. Not simply we are believing. Belief supported by Shraddha, I did not bring anything. Everything has been provided by Him. So whatever we offer is also the one which He has offered to us. the devotion and Shraddha. Instead of seeing life as fragmented into spiritual and worldly, merge them with the devotion. Demolish the divide between mundane and spiritual. Cultivate the habit of remembering God in every action. This ensures purity and attachment. Illustrative story. Pranita, a corporate lawyer, initially viewed her profession separately from her spirituality. After attending a retreat on integrating work and devotion, she began offering her daily tasks to the divine. We remember one of our devotees' son-in-law. He happened to be a cardiac surgeon. He was in Cochin, now he is in London. So when we were staying with him, he used to tell us, every day he goes, for surgery. Initially it was open heart, then later on bypass and stent. So he says every day before I enter into the OT, operation theatre, I close my eyes and pray to him. You have come in the form of a patient. In sitting inside, you are prompting me to do it. Make me aware of this always. Because you have put faith in the patient to come to me. So, and I am not an individual of myself. You are there. But I must become aware. And all his surgery was success. Every time, religiously, he was telling. So after attending a retreat on integrating work and devotion, she began offering her daily tasks to the divine. That is why we remembered. Whether negotiating contracts or assisting clients, she approached each task as an act of service. This shift brought her a profound sense of fulfillment and deepened her spiritual connection. Everything originates from the divine. And when we recognize this truth, life becomes effortless and peaceful. By dedicating all actions to Him, we transcend the ego-driven me and mine mindset, allowing divine grace to flow freely. Just as a river merges into the ocean, our fragmented sense of self dissolves into the vastness of the divine, leading to lasting joy and fulfillment. So, chapter number 9 draws our attention to this salient factor. So, the refinement here means to convert, everything as an offering to Him. Morning you would have observed at the time of flower offering here. We have a very few rituals. One of them is this flower offering. How in an orderly way everybody collects the flower, stands in the queue, moves slowly, offer at the holy feet of our masters, come back, take the tirtha, then disperse. If one or two petals or leaves are seen, everybody picks it up. Because nothing is irrelevant, nothing is unimportant, nothing is insignificant. It's a joy to see that. So the 9th chapter. From there we move to the 10th chapter, seeing divinity in all things. After this chapter we will go to the first for the sake of those who are attending for the first time, or now we will go. Because many of them are attending for the first time, so they may not know the background. So we will just go through that. Every devotee or seeker holds deep reverence for Srimad Bhagavad Gita, yet its impact on daily life often remains minimal. This may be because one perceives its wisdom, Gita's wisdom, as unrelated to refining the four fundamental aspects of life: individual life, family life, professional life, and social life. We don't find any connect. That might be the reason. However, true transformation begins when we recognize that the Gita is not just a scripture of knowledge, but a practical refinery for the mind. Its teachings, when applied, act as a purification process, filtering out impurities in our thoughts, words, and actions. As a result, what flows from us is clarity, harmony, and inner peace. With this perspective, an effort has been made to explore the Gita as a timeless catalyst for inner and outer harmony, rooted in an awareness of the Creator. This study began by drawing clues from each of the 700 shlokas, leading to a structured chart of key points for all 18 chapters. This was followed by deeper reflection on these points, identifying the factors that refine the mind and illustrating them with real-life examples. By consciously refining our thoughts before they manifest as words and actions, we create a life of ease and alignment, one where challenges become stepping stones rather than obstacles. This is the preface. So first we went through the 700 slokas, and then we brought out a chart giving details, chapter number, name of the chapter, how many shlokas, and what are the key points. See, suppose you tomorrow take up, it may be key points may differ. Each one is guided by him in his own way. So for us, whatever he made us to identify as key points, that was kept. And that is how then we started working upon the key points. So many times we had to change. And finally now it is coming to a shape. And then comes the introduction. Beloved Papa Swami Ramdas of Anandashram beautifully describes the Bhagavad Gita as a veritable mosaic of eternal wisdom. This sacred scripture provides insights into every aspect of human life, addressing both spiritual and physical dimensions with profound clarity. Okay? Its timeless relevance lies in the fact that it leaves no question unanswered about how to navigate life's challenges and opportunities. For those seeking the ultimate truths of philosophy and practical light for everyday living, Gita is an unparalleled guide. The core message of this remarkable work is to cultivate self-awareness, me, who really am I? Establish a meaningful connection with the indwelling divine power, he. Align harmoniously with our role in co-creation. These are the three things, Me, the sense of individuality, he, the indwelling reality, pulsating, activating, enlivening this sense of individuality, and then the co-creation. So it helps us to know. When we go through the chapters, it has been clearly mentioned. What is para, apara, everything has been beautifully brought out. The ancient rishis, often regarded as spiritual scientists, delved deeply into the eternal wisdom and uncovered profound truths which they compiled into the extensive teachings of the Upanishads. To make these teachings more accessible to the masses, their essence was distilled and presented in the form of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is evident from the following Dhyana Shloka. Sarvopanishado gavo bhokta gopala nandanaha partho vassa sudhir bhokta dukdam gitamrutam mahate. All the Upanishads are the cows, Milkman is Lord Krishna, Arjuna is the calf, men and women of purified intellect are the drinkers, and the supreme nectar Gita is the milk. The allegory of the Kurukshetra battlefield brings the Gita teachings to life. Instead of treating it as an incident that had happened 5,000 years ago or 6,000 years ago in a place called Kurukshetra near Haryana, let us try to see it in ourselves. This battlefield is not just a historical or mythical setting. It represents the inner struggles we face every day. Lord Krishna, the charioteer and guide, symbolizes the indwelling reality, the divine wisdom within us. Arjuna, the warrior, filled with doubt and confusion, represents our sense of individuality, often torn between conflicting emotions and responsibilities. The Kauravas are the negative forces within us, greed, anger, and pride that pull us down. In contrast, the Pandavas symbolize positive virtues such as truth, courage, and compassion. Kurukshetra is the world within and without, a stage where these forces clash. So now it has come to us. Through the first stanza, the Bhagavad Gita drives us to discover that every problem faced by us stems from not rising from me and mine. I am in me and mine only. And the last stanza, 18th chapter, last stanza, assures that when we experience that He is the indwelling reality, who is behind all our thoughts, words, and deeds, we will enjoy happiness, peace, and prosperity born out of the guidance from Him. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is directing us to move from me and mine to me to we, and then we to Him. From self-assertion, born out of the sense of individuality, to surrender to the power activating the sense of individuality. That means we should know that we are only playing the part allotted to us by Him in this world Leela, and nothing is really initiated by us. However, the sense of individuality often blinds us to the truth. Beloved Papa provides a profound key to unlock the treasures of the Gita. Behold divinity in every aspect of this world Leela. Verily, it is He at play in all beings and creatures. This theme is brought out by the Lord in chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita in sloka number 7. At all times and in all places, remember me and fight the battle of life. With mind and intellect surrendered to me, you will definitely then attain me. Of this there is no doubt. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Remember me and fight the battle of life. In all places, at all times. Nature has gifted us an extraordinary ability to refine experiences within our own system. Yet, life today is filled with crudity in our relationships, actions, and thinking. This arises when we fail to use our body-mind complex as a refinery of experience. Functioning from a lower level of consciousness, our thoughts and actions become self-centered, leaving no space for a broader perspective. However, when we operate from the higher faculty of buddhi, our outlook naturally expands to include the well-being of others. The attitude shifts to what can we do for others, aligning with the Atman or Brahman, the one divine self present in all. That means when anything and everything is done with God dimension in our mind, the crudeness in us gets refined. Just as raw materials are refined to produce something valuable, our experiences, both good and bad, should be processed to bring out qualities such as love, compassion, peace, efficiency, and dedication. The essential question before us is, how can we refine our experiences? The Bhagavad Gita provides practical clues, practical techniques to transform the mind from crudity into a refinery. More than a text for intellectual study, it serves as a guide for real-life transformation, helping us navigate challenges with wisdom and balance. Step by step, the Gita teaches us to build strong character and personality by refining our psychophysical energy system known as buddhi. This faculty, comprising intelligence, discrimination, will, and emotion, is a powerful tool for human growth. True motivation arises not from the intellect alone, but from emotion and feeling, which, when harmonized with willpower, creates a dynamic force for self transformation. By refining our inner energy, we cultivate creativity, courage, determination, focus, and innovation. The Bhagavad Gita gradually strengthens our buddhi, helping us regulate impulsive reactions, make wiser choices, and avoid regret. Normally in our life, we plan and proceed. This is not discouraged. Only thing is that while planning, we put a comma and add a word subject to his will. For example, in June 2012, Urmila Yadav, a senior pilot with Alliance Air, handled with equanimity the most alarming situation caused by the loss of the nose wheel of the plane. She was the pilot, 48 passengers. She did not get agitated in these trying moments and made a safe landing by manipulating independently the controls of the aircraft, thus safeguarding the lives of 48 passengers. The Samatvam Yoga Muchade, in second chapter, when it says, so this is a practical demonstration. Not getting panicky, not getting upset, not becoming nervous. She was able to handle everything. She knew the nose wheel had dropped. So landing is a problem. But still, she did not inform the ground. She did not inform the passengers. But she manipulated in such a way that least damage is done for the aircraft. When it finally stopped with a jerk, then only people knew. And then she announced. So what is the example of the outcome of refinement? Let us try, This is another one. A father sees his child go through many moods. Dirty one moment, mischievous the next, laughing in the morning, crying in the evening. Yet his love for the child remains unchanged. This is an example of Samabuddhi, a balanced mind. Mother handling the situation where she could have lost the temper when her daughter failed to bring the milk. Not only she was peaceful, she could touch and kindle the goodness in daughter. I think we should explain a little more. When mother was working in the kitchen, the drying and dining all together. So she had kept the milk a little far off. Her daughter, 7-8-year-old. So she asked whether you can bring the milk. Oh yes, with all enthusiasm, she stopped her play, went there. She was taking the milk pot and then walking slowly. Suddenly she lost her step, fell down, entire milk got spilled. Now she got a shock. What will mother say, no? Mother immediately saw that, immediately rushed up, patted on her back, and then June, in a lighter vein, she said, if you want to play with milk, you can do that. And this opportunity you will not get. And then both of them brought a bucket and a wiping cloth, and the entire place was cleared. And then again, the daughter felt very bad, no? She was in a very, very negative mood. Mother saw this. Again, she kept a bowl of water in the same place. So after a few minutes, she said, will you please get me that bowl of water? Immediately, the daughter said, mother is not offended. That's why she's asking me to bring it again. So she took it and brought it safely. So mother patted on her back. Oh, this time you could do it well. Then she said, when I was bringing the milk, so I was concentrating. Suddenly I was thinking of something, and which resulted in my falling down. So this time I was very careful not to allow the mind to go anywhere. And then that is why I learned a lesson. Now look here, that's why it is said, mother handling the situation where she could have lost the temper when her daughter failed to bring the milk. Not only she was peaceful, she could teach and kindle the goodness in daughter. So these are all the expressed form of refinement. In the same way, a true seeker recognizes the presence of the divine in all situations, joy and sorrow, success and failure, laughter and tears. This understanding brings intellectual equanimity and inner peace in the form of fixed resolve, sustained faith, optimistic outlook. Before we enter the mansion of Gita, it will be better to have clarity on the ideal we are pursuing through Gita. Like when we become aware of Ananda Ashram's ideal, as given out by beloved Papa in 1931, we will be able to make the best use of our visit and stay. The ideal can be to properly align ourselves with the indwelling reality and our co-creation. This is the triangle. No, not very clear. So when we enter, there is a board here. You will find the message given by Papa. The ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. All are welcome here, irrespective of any denominations. The mutual love and service that we try to cultivate here, you have all come here to learn this mutual love and service. What we try to cultivate here will then be useful when we go out of the ashram. These are all the words Papa used. So when we know this and then join the ashram program, then we will be able to derive the maximum benefit. Otherwise, somebody is doing some nama, somebody is doing some bhajan, somebody is doing some satsang. There are some programs that are going on that will not convey the ideal. Similarly, before we enter the mansion of Gita, it will be better to have clarity on the ideal we are pursuing through Gita. So the ideal was explained that it's a manual, no? It's a manual to improve the quality of our life. That should be very clear. So every now and then we keep on reflecting on any aspects of Gita that will help us to improve the quality of our life, how to react to events and individuals. And then the key points, we were going from chapter to chapter. This is the background. That means not the traditional way of covering the portion. What is it that by which we can ninth over, 10th, no? 10th we have completed? Seeing divinity in all things. Key points. Realize the eternal ephemeral nature, freedom from delusion, patience, adherence to truth, control, equal vision, non-violence, concentration, etc. are his vibhudis. The Lord keeps on explaining about his vibhudi, and these are all the truths that are coming out. This chapter begins by emphasizing the supreme sovereignty of the Lord. Even the most evolved beings cannot fully comprehend the mysterious way in which the Lord projects himself as the universe and all its creatures. Everything that exists has emerged from him alone. For the ordinary mind, divine power is often perceived in extraordinary manifestations among luminous objects, the sun stands unmatched. Among mountains, Meru remains unparalleled. Among motionless entities, Himalayas dominate. However, the Lord reveals that wherever there is magnificence, greatness, or excellence, His presence is more clearly perceived. He is the primeval seed from which all creation has come into existence. There is nothing that exists apart from His power. In truth, His glories are infinite, and what can be expressed about Him is but a mere spark of His vast grandeur. The Lord ultimately declares that the entire universe is formed and pervaded by just a fragment of His unthinkably limitless existence. This understanding expands the mind from particular isolated manifestations toward the eternal, all-inclusive being of the Lord. We were sharing in the morning. There is yesterday also we were sharing. In one of these boards you will find the sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. When He is all-pervading, there is no otherness, So at least intellectually we try to understand He is all-pervading. When He is all-pervading, there is nothing where He is not. So then Papa adds one more. If we develop this otherness, that means we are setting the limit to the illimitable. Spiritual refinement. The Lord ultimately declared that the entire universe is formed and pervaded by just a fragment of His unthinkably limitless existence. This understanding expands the mind from particular isolated manifestations towards the eternal, all-inclusive being of the Lord. Otherwise, we have got a habit of localizing the divinity to forms. It is okay. Form is also a form of God, no. But it is not the only one. So we should be careful not to limit the illimitable. Spiritual refinement begins by anchoring oneself in the realization that everything, people, situations, experiences, owes its origin to the same divine source. This awareness dissolves inner conflicts, settles restlessness, fosters a deep sense of harmony with all existence. Very difficult, but at least now ideally we will take it as an ideal. Everything is happening only by His will. Very difficult to accept for people like us. But we will keep it as an ideal so that in one or two we might be able to succeed. If we don't keep that ideal, how will we start? So even in the so-called negative, we will slowly start accepting. One incident comes to our mind. A great Satyasai Bhakta, who is no more now, he is a document writer, he is in close touch with ashram. So he lost his son, especially on the second day of his son's marriage. Both the newlywed couple were washed away and their body was brought back. So it was a terrible accident. Everything came in the paper. We know him on the third or fourth day. Puja Swamiji was there. So both of us went there to see him. It was a tough job to meet them. His son was about 24 or 25 years old. He was in Dubai, doing very well. He had come for the marriage. The marriage took place in Cochin. After that, there was a reception to be held. Before that, they came here, and all of them went for a picnic with their friends to Mangalore beach, and then somehow God willed that it had happened. Okay. So when we went there, the moment the father came to know that Puja Swamiji is coming, he immediately came rushing toward the gate, opened the gate, and suddenly caught hold of Swamiji's feet and started crying. A tough. a scene. After a few minutes, Swamiji slowly lifted him up. Then he said these words, that's why we remember. Swamiji, I know Baba gave me this son and made me to be with him for 25 years. And after that, he has his own reason to take him away. But still, I'm not in a position to hold on to this truth always. So this is what we are trying. We may not be able to hold on to the truth always, but in times of crisis, he is still aware. Everything happens only by God's will. So he said, yes, I can understand. I am 100% clear about it. But still I lose my balance. And Puja Swamiji said, no, you will be able to recover. It is difficult, no doubt, for everybody, but at least you are now recovering. Hold on to it. So spiritual refinement begins by anchoring oneself in the realization that everything, people, situation, experiences, owes its origin to the same divine source. This awareness dissolves inner conflicts, settles restlessness, fosters a deep sense of harmony with all existence. The divine expresses itself through various virtues: truth, patience, non-violence, concentration, self-control. Recognizing these virtues as manifestation of the Vibhuti enables us to live with reverence and awareness. Ankit, an artist, spent years of painting landscapes, capturing nature's beauty on canvas. One evening, as he worked on a sunset piece, something shifted within. As the colors blended and the light softened, he felt an overwhelming sense of unity with the world around him. In that moment, he saw his art not just as a personal creation, but as a reflection of the divine energy that flows through all things. This realization transformed his approach. His brushstrokes became an offering, his creativity a sacred act. He no longer painted for recognition, but as a means of experiencing and sharing something of far greater than himself. Recognizing that all greatness stems from the same divine source refines our perception of the world. Instead of being attached to isolated manifestations of power, beauty, or success, we learn to see them as mere glimpses of the infinite. This shift dissolves restlessness and deepens our reverence for all aspects of life, allowing us to live in harmony with the divine presence that pervades everyone, everywhere. Recognizing the greatness. It all helps us to tame or subdue the me and mine. Otherwise it has been arrogating, This is the refining process. Then we move to chapter number 11, Understanding Divine Energy. Key points: he is present in different manifestations, different attributes. Obstacles, difficulties, and even the prospect of death itself are challenges that push one towards greatness. When work, knowledge, and devotion merge, jnana, bhakti, and karma, they lead to an extraordinary realization, the grand universal vision of the divine. In this vision, the devotee experiences an ecstasy beyond words, a joy so profound that he loses himself in the boundless existence of the Lord. He perceives God both as manifest and unmanifest, dissolving his sense of individuality, which was once tied to the body. In a moment of transformation, the entire universe stands revealed as the very form and expressions of the Lord. When you go to a park or a botanical garden, everybody gets a taste of this. Different types of trees, plants, flowers. Nobody is tired of looking at it. Everybody nowadays takes photographs. Everybody tries to identify the uniqueness. But suppose we also add one more dimension, the creator behind this varied creation. Not just being carried away by the creation. The very creator who is behind the varied creation. Elsewhere we found, a painter on the same canvas with the same brush. He paints, he brings out caricatures of different types of objects. He touches different types of emotions in us. If a man can do that, why not the creator? Think. So at this stage, the devotee no longer sees himself as separate from his beloved Lord. Instead, he becomes one with him in all aspects, yet continues to engage in the divine play of duality. This vision unveils the Supreme in countless forms, embodying power, brilliance, vastness, and even destruction. Seeing God in both the awe-inspiring and the terrifying expands one's understanding of the infinite. A tiny little seed, how it brings a tree which stands for 50 years, 60 years. So this all will help us to know the reflection. This vision unveils the Supreme in countless forms, embodying power, brilliance, vastness, and even destruction. Seeing God in both the awe-inspiring and the terrifying expands one's understanding of the infinite. With this realization comes the fundamental shift. One moves beyond hatred and attachment, embracing a love that is universal. Actions are no longer performed for personal gain, but are offered to the divine as a sacred act. The doer vanishes. What remains is pure, selfless service. Pramila, a scientist, spent years unraveling the mysteries of the universe. Her research led her to remarkable discoveries, but a deeper understanding eluded her. One day, as she reflected on the energy behind her experiments, she had a profound realization. It was not separate from the divine force that governed our creation. This insight changed her perception of science itself. No longer was she merely analyzing formulas and data. She was witnessing the intricate dance of the divine at play. Her work became an act of devotion, and science transformed from an intellectual pursuit into a spiritual journey. To understand divine energy is to recognize its presence in all aspects of life, the grand and the subtle. The magnificent and the terrifying. When the mind surrenders its claims of ownership and actions are offered to the divine, life itself becomes a symphony of devotion. By merging work, knowledge, and love, one sees beyond individual existence and awakens to the limitless presence of God. So during this journey, we should keep on hammering, what is it that I can take it for harmonizing, no doubt, but that will help me to refine my thoughts, words and deeds. Because at the end of this study, we intend to put it in a capsule form. We are just working it out. So that this we may not be able to remember. But when we put it in the capsule form, what does this 700 slokas spread in 18 chapters can help me as an individual in my individual life, and if I am a family person, family life, if I am a professional, in my professional life, if I am a social being, in a social life, how it will help me? This question I keep on asking. We will read a few lines what we have worked out, so that will give us some idea. This journey through the sacred text Srimad Bhagavad Gita has revealed that a harmonious, peaceful and productive life is possible when our thoughts, words and deeds undergo a conscious process of refinement before being expressed. Each chapter of the Gita contributes valuable insights into this transformative process. To begin this journey, we must first assess our current state of mind, whether it is rooted in self-centeredness or expanded beyond it. Only then can we chart a path to fine-tune our mind towards the ideal of inner purification and self-mastery. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us that beyond the external activities of body and mind, there exists an eternal indwelling spirit, the immortal source of all life. It is by this spirit's power that we function in every aspect of life, whether in a classroom or hospital, office, marketplace, factory, field, or place of worship. This spirit is the eternal seed from which all existence arises, expressing itself as life force, consciousness, and intelligence. It has provided for all our fundamental needs through Mother Nature and enriched our lives with comforts through co-creations. Recognizing and surrendering to this divine indwelling power is the first and foremost step in the refining process. Thus, our thoughts, words, and actions must align with this higher truth. We are not merely an individual. The refinement process begins with a conscious effort, the first stage, not to react impulsively to situations or people. Instead, we pause, reflect, and then respond with awareness. But on what should we reflect? Key reflections for refinement: the immortality of the self and the perishability of the body, performing actions without attachment to results, acknowledging the many factors that contribute to the outcome, cultivating even-mindedness in all circumstances, knowing that they unfold according to His divine will, even if we do not immediately understand the why. Engaging all activities with wholehearted involvement, leading to excellence in action. Acting with detachment, free from both attachment and aversion. Recognizing the paradox of inaction with action and action within inaction. Remaining fully engaged in action while being inwardly free from it. Practicing moderation in food, activity, rest. Understanding that the origin of all creation is one. Remembering the inevitability of death and keeping Him in our thoughts at the final moment. Realizing that everything exists in Him, yet He is beyond all limitations. Recognizing His divine manifestations in qualities such as patience, truthfulness, nonviolence, and concentration. Seeing His presence in different attributes and expressions of life. Becoming aware of the qualities of a true devotee. Distinguishing between the body and the knower of the body. Understanding how the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, bind the internal spirit to the body, shaping individually. Contemplating the perishable, the imperishable, and that which is beyond both. Remaining vigilant about the forces that uplift or pull us down, choosing to align with the elevating ones. Developing Shraddha in austerities related to body, mind, and speech, ensuring sattvic qualities in food, yajna, dana, and tapas. Finally, surrendering completely, leading to the dissolution of the ego and the realization of oneness with Him. To ensure that these principles are deeply ingrained in our minds, we must recollect anecdotes, whether from personal experience or observation or teaching, to make the wisdom of the Gita relatable and practical. Without this, our study may remain purely intellectual rather than transformative. Additionally, memorizing selected slogas that emphasize these themes will serve as a powerful aid in internalizing the truth. So out of the 700, we can pick 10 or 15 or 20, and we can learn it by heart. Just now we said, Samam Sarveshu Bhudeshu Tishtantam Parameshwaram. I am there equally in everybody. So when I differ with somebody, when somebody I feel I get offended because of him, immediately if this my sloga comes to me, Samam Sarveshu Bhudeshu, he is equal in, there will be a break, I may also react, but there will be a break. Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu Ma Manusmari Yudhyacha. Therefore, at all times and in all conditions, remember me and find the battle of life. So we chant Ram Nam here to remember him, to remember him, to remember him. Like that, a few slogas. We may not be able to learn all. That sloga with its meaning and then how it relates to our daily life. So, dwelling repeatedly on the above will surely enable one to refine the mind's perception, revealing the deeper reality that the life principle activating all beings is the same. Just as raw materials undergo a process to become something of greater value, our thoughts must be purified to recognize unity beyond surface level differences. All breathe the same air, walk on the same earth, are equally entitled to the amenity that nature provides. The earth yields its rich gift to all alike without discrimination. The apparent differences between individuals on the material plane are in truth distortions that arise when the mind remains unrefined. For at the core, the composition of human bodies and the qualities inherent in them are not diverse and conflicting, but fundamentally the same. When the mind is processed through a refinery of wisdom, it sheds its impurities, biases, separateness, attachment to artificial distinctions. With this purified vision, one no longer perceives rigid boundaries isolating man from man, one community from another, or one nation from another. Instead, one sees the seamless oneness underlying all existence. We are indeed parts of the stupendous whole, units of a vast world community. When our minds undergo the refining transformation, we naturally live and act as members of the world brotherhood, fostering harmony and unity in thought, word, and deed. This is the meaning of that Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, from Upanishads. So the moment this unity is through refinement, we try to move towards this unity, absence of otherness. Then not that there conflicts will not be there. Conflicts will be there. Trying moments will be there. Challenges will be there. Duties and commitments will definitely harass us. But in handling all these, we will also learn the technique of handling it without getting upset. We will deal everything in a calm and quiet manner. Not that we will keep quiet, we will act, but the temper changes. So this is the idea behind this study. So when we request all of you to remember at least whatever is possible, each one has been blessed with some experience. So we try to parade those experiences before our mind and then try to connect that experience with this refining point. Either we have seen in somebody's life, or we have witnessed somebody something directly, or we have heard somebody telling us, or we have read something about somebody. These are the things that will help us to dwell on this refining process. More about this tomorrow. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Pranam, 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 pranam.
Hari Om to Ram Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Swamiji, Rajamandi.